Today I'm gonna build a new fast ride for Santa. So, I have a tradition every year to build some sort of winter village build. 3 years ago, I started with this small Santa sleigh cut that then I expanded to submit long ago on Lego Ideas on a bigger base. After that, I bring Santa's family to ski with Mrs. Claus and the elves. They were having fun down the slopes. And then last year, I had a very cool one. Santa's went to Japan and he was having a good time in the onsen. Today, this year, I decided instead to upgrade to a sort of water sleigh. So we're going to build a kind of speedboat for Santa for faster delivery from the North Pole. So here we have the base of the boat, which is pretty simple. We have some basics knot techniques over there. And the same goes for the tip that is going to be like this. So the color scheme is green, white, red, and a little bit of gold. I'm using these cloud pieces, sort of Monkey Kid cloud pieces. They could be just some details on the side of the boat, but potentially they could be also considered as some snow that is depositing on the side of the boat. We are gonna add a lot more details over here, but I'm very, very happy with this detail. And now over here at the back is where Santa is gonna keep the gift that he's gonna deliver with this speedboat. So we're gonna add some brackets with a little bit of details, and then on the back side I'm gonna have this structure that with some headlight brick that I will need to connect this green part. In this way, then everything is aligned properly like so. Here we have also this white bag and the motor. I have this sort of rope white thingy that I'm going to slide down the side of the boat as a sort of extra decoration, and it's going to be held there only by friction. Before I do that, actually, maybe I should finish the front with a little bit of pointy detail. So as I said, this is going to come here and be held just by friction. From the right perspective, it even look like some sort of print on the side of the boat, but I think it's pretty cool like this. Initially, I wanted to use those to add some maybe some Christmas lights on a bigger boat, but I think this is the maximum scale I can build. Otherwise, then the surrounding of the mock will become too big. Now, over here, we're going to add the place where Santa is going to drive. So here again, some gold details. He also has a snack and a drink. And then I think we can add Santa in his driving position. Of course, he needs something to control this water boat. So we're going to add this little structure over here. And we can just give this in Santa's hands. So now he's driving the water sleigh. Very, very cool. A couple of details here on the side with these red lanterns. There could be some sort of buoy that help him maybe when he docks somewhere to protect a little bit the side of the boat. That is a kind of sleek design. If you look at this from the front or from the top, is actually a pretty cool and fast swooshable build. Over here, I'm just gonna add some gift. So we have a Christmassy skateboard with this printed gift tile. I'm gonna add a teddy bear over there, maybe a blue guitar to give a little bit of color at the back there, and then we can just add a couple of more regular gifts. I'm just gonna drop them there like that, and I also have a companion for Santa that is gonna go around with an elf on this Christmassy printed surf. He also carrying a snack, a big pie, and he's using this stick as a sort of stand-up paddle, which I think is a good addition. So they're gonna ride together, but now it's time to build the water where they're gonna drive around. So here I have this big base, very simple and straightforward. I have this azure at the bottom and everything is tiled up on top. I was trying to use mostly clear parts underneath, but I didn't have enough. So I added some white instead in some places, which anyway makes sense. It could be some maybe ice that is underneath the water level. Anyway, here we're gonna have the boat, so most of those white will be hidden. Now over here I want to add a couple of small sort of island, iceberg kind of thing coming up. So over here we're gonna add another elf. I'm also using a little bit of different color here for the ice around this island. So this is gonna connect like this. So it's actually coming off the base, the square base a little bit. We have an elf that is looking at Santa because we have another delivery of letters for Santa. So he's gonna probably come here and collect some more letters. And over here, I'm using this technique where I'm gonna slide this slope sideways to have a nice diagonal details. I only did this at the front, not on the side, because it's not gonna be seen anyway. On this side, I have a slightly bigger island. So again, I'm gonna push it down. I need to add one more tile at the back there. And again, one of these slopes like I did on the right side. So here I have a sort of Santa's friend, a worker, with some Christmassy clothes. He's gonna trim a little bit this Christmas tree. And to create the effect of the lights on this very small tree, I'm using Lego elastics band in white, blue, red, and yellow. And the yellow one is also holding on onto the star. We have this pole also here to sort of signal the small island. And I think here we are pretty good. Now, before I add the boat, I think it's time to add the background. So over here, I wanted to create a micro scale background. So when we look at this from the front, it looks like here we have the boat, and far back we have a little bit of details. So over here on the left, I'm going to build some sort of pine tree forest. So I have this big structure over here. Sorry about that. And over here we have all these micro scale trees in green, bright green, sand green, and white. When we look at this from the front, it will look like we have this forest in the background. Over here, I wanted to build a village, a sort of North Pole village. Same kind of thing. I'm using some of those big wedge plates, and here is what I have. Very small build. I have a big Christmas tree in the middle, and then all these small houses that are basically made with two. Let me see if I can bring it a little bit closer. They're made with two plates, one by one, and then they have a snowy roof on top. This one is a printed tile with the door at the front, and I'm using also this Ferrari printed logos, because from distance the logo looks like a small micro scale door. So I think it works out quite well. So now I just need to put it there and push it down to connect properly like so. Then I can bring back Santa. So in theory, it could go that way, but I think it looks nicer if it's sort of turning this way. And I wanted to make it look like we have a little bit of water moving at the back. So I'm using this part that, if you remember last time, I was using this as some sort of fog, smoke coming up. I'm gonna lie this on the floor, on the base of this water, to make it look like this is the water moving slowly from the boat. Potentially could have done that in white, but then I think there's already too much white in this build, so I think that is a good effect, and I think I can add a couple more as well, and these are gonna be coming off the back of the stand-up paddle with the elf. So the build is gonna be something like this, and I think it's already pretty cool with the micro scale. But once I was here, I realized that it was not finished. We need to add a background. By the way, here's some footage from my members only video for my Dreamers member, that they saw this build in advance, and they have a little bit more behind the scene of my building process and thinking. So I will link it down below if you want to check it out. Anyway, this is the structure I created. So we have a base that is gonna slide at the back side. I did three more layers of bricks and slopes to complete the sort of mountain, and then a grading of different shades of blue at the back. It's not perfect because I'm very low on this kind of colors, and in particular I don't like here this sand blue on top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different shades, and I'm using basically all the parts that I had available at the moment. I couldn't go with any other blue there because the normal blue is quite striking over here, so I think this makes more sense. And to cover a little bit that sand blue, I added a couple of clouds. So those are there mostly to cover up the darker part, also because I didn't have enough parts of this blue to finish it until the top. So here is the finished build. Let me know what you think. If you turn it around slightly, also it has a pretty interesting effect. And this is a complete mock. If you look at this from the side, the walls is all nice and finished. The back is not, because I have to take some compromises because I was running out of parts. So you can see there are some sticking out pieces. Other than the back, the rest is pretty good. Maybe I will have just to make a proper connection over here so that it doesn't move around. But this would be very good display piece as well. So Let me know what you think about this build. Over here on screen, you can see the Santa at the onsen from last year that I highly recommend you to go and check out. And after that, of course, I wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and stay tuned because more awesome Lego creations and videos will be coming on the channel soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.